What you think and believe really matters. You are a biological algorithm. Your brain and your body are completely integrated in their development and in their anatomy. And we tend to think of pain as a function of the body. But that isn't the biological, neurological reality of it. It is a whole system sensory phenomenon. And that means that the thoughts and the feelings that we have about our pain and our injuries and our optimism over our ability to improve these things is absolutely key. So the old adage is, whether you believe you're going to get better or whether you believe you're stuck like this, you're probably right, because that's the power of our thoughts and our feelings. So it's really important that we are not trying to train ourselves to ignore any pain. That's never the right biological response to significant pain. But equally, it's important that we check ourselves that we're not carrying negative brain worms that have been put there by society, the internet, friends, previous therapists who have tried to help us, that have all given us feelings of fragility and permanency towards the pain that we're feeling. Because no one knows your future, and nobody can predict that you have to be stuck like this. But it is often what's said to people is, I'm afraid you have, say, arthritic changes in your knee, and they're not going to get better over time. So your best bet is simply to offload, guard, and move differently for the rest of your life. And Unbroken's trying to give you a different view of that and go, yeah, okay, so our joint system might not look perfect on X-ray, but that doesn't mean that's the entire reason we feel pain through that area. Threat in persistent pain is always multifactorial. So even though we can't change that underlying bone, we can change the mobility in the joint. We can make sure that we're moving really well above and below that problem area. And we can ensure that we've got great neurological function going to that knee. And as a physiotherapist, over and over again, I see this basic approach work. We don't worry about what we can't change, but we put all our attention and focus on changing the way that bit actually feels. And we try and unwind any thoughts and feelings we have that give us the idea that the best thing to do is to simply offload, guard, minimize movement in any body part. And that might somehow amount to looking after it. And the spine's a good example of this. Many people with low back pain will have been warned of the dangers of essentially rounding your back and bending and standing. It's a commonly said thing within therapy that has no scientific evidence to support it. But by taking on that advice, you have bound yourself to become biologically less efficient than you were before. And that's a really important overarching point, is that biological systems are driven by efficiency. And if we start overlaying movement with thoughts, feelings, and our overthinking, over fussy cognitive caps, then we can only make movement less efficient. And so we want to try and unwind those negative beliefs we have, those over cognitive strategies around firing up our core or squeezing our glutes or not letting our feet and knees roll in when we're walking and moving. Each and every one of those deliberate acts you take is a move away from efficiency. And if we really want to restore thoughtless, fearless movement, we need to feel optimistic about the body we are living in now. We need to feel optimistic about our ability to heal and improve in the future. And we need to respond appropriately to pain and keep asking ourselves that question, how bad is the sensory experience really? Because that's the best thing we can go on, is not things that other people have told us, that mild pins and needle that runs down your leg is a sign of serious problem in your lower back. That's a great example of where we can have a really mild physical sensation, but a catastrophic thought about it, leading us to act abnormally around that pain. So try to remember that thoughts and feelings are another form of inputs, and they can act as threats if we have a brain that's full of negativity about what our pain means and what our future looks like. But if we can flip that narrative and start to believe in our body as a biological entity that could heal many of the problems that have brought us to this program without external help, then that internal narrative of optimism will create real and meaningful changes in the internal universe of your brain that will help stack your deck better towards recovery. So try and believe in yourself.